Hi dear cricket fans, subscribers and friends of Cricket Happenings. Your host Ram again with Cricket Happenings. What you're going to look today is one dramatic match which ended in the sixth one day international between Australia and England. And Australia have taken a 5-1 lead in the series. And not only that, they actually made the most successful run chase ever in Australia by actually scoring more than 300 runs. The score was 300 and they chased 333 set up by England, and they made 334 for 8 to win this match by 2 wickets, and with I think it was 4 balls to spare. Well, I will be talking about that in detail for sure. But what I would like to say is, if at all I have time after that report, I will try to do the preview. I can't promise you. It all depends on the time after the report that I make between Australia and England in the 6-1 international, which I said is very, very interesting. And as far as there are two matches which are going to be played, just for your information here. The first one would be New Zealand versus Pakistan, which would be the fifth one day international, and also we have West Indies and Sri Lanka clashing in the second one day international. Of the first one day international was rained out. Well, so let's start off with the Australia-England game. What a game it was! Well, as you know, all eyes were on Australia and England actually, but Australia are peaking right now, and that is something which is very good for them. They are peaking at the right time, just before the World Cup 2011. And let me tell you, Australia are looking dangerous because Ricky Ponting is not there in their ranks, and he will be joining them in the World Cup for sure. And England have been almost swamped there. They are 5-1, Australia leading in the series. And what was interesting about Michael Clarke was that even though Australia had actually wound up the series, he didn't allow it. He went for it. Like I would be talking about that later when I cover that. But looking at this game here, England were the ones who had first strike because they won the toss. They chose to bat, and there were good contributions right on the top of the order. In fact, they lost an early wicket with Mitchell Johnson producing a gem of a delivery which went through Pryor's defences and actually rattled his stump. So he was gone. Pryor was bowled with Johnson for 18 of 23 balls with 2 fours. That was the first wicket to go. Trott joined in, and Jonathan Trott, and Strauss was superb yesterday. Strauss was just coming out of his crease to actually handle Johnson. He used to come down the wicket and hit Johnson out of his line, and he was doing it with customary regularity, and that was very refreshing to see that Strauss actually leaving his crease and coming down the wicket. And Jonathan Trott was playing in his usual way, but he was not only holding the England innings, but he was actually leading England to a huge score, and that's what he did. And also Jonathan Trott defied cramps because his first 50 was a bit slow, but the balance, the other 50, just came in 39 balls. And after that, once he had cramps, he decided to hit through the line, even by limping and actually struggling with his injury. But well, he was still he was just waiting at the crease and delivering. He was not moving his feet, he was just hitting through the line. He had a runner running for him. But before that, Strauss was the first to go after playing, the next to go after involved in a very good partnership with Jonathan Trott, which took on the score to 121. So it was a partnership of 80 runs, very valuable there. And Strauss was gone. Strauss was taken by Smith as he had him caught by Hussey for 63 of 69 balls with 6 fours. Jonathan Trott was there, just as I said, not only holding the innings, also playing some glorious strokes. His whip of the back foot on the leg side. And well, I just want to say Jonathan Trott is just a permanent feature of the England team here. Kevin Pietersen contributed 29 of 34 balls with 2 fours. Ian Bell was very, very aggressive in his knock. He made a very quick 45 of 32 balls by paddling the fast bowlers for fours. Not only that, he was not even afraid to come down the wicket to Mitchell Johnson and John Tate and hit them through the line. He was a victim of Tate for 45 32 balls with 5 fours. And then it was Ian Morgan who contributed 21 of 13 balls with 3 fours. Jonathan Trott went on to his century, and Paul Collins was not out on 7. And Jonathan Trott was the final man to be out, caught and bowled by Sean Tate for 137 of 126 balls, 11 fours in that knock of 137, 333 for 6. England put up a huge score on the board there. As far as the bowling figures were concerned, Brett Lee 9 overs, 1 for 66, Sean Tate 10 overs, 2 for 59, Johnson 6 overs, 143, 7 overs no maiden, none for 48 for John Hastings, David Hussey 4 overs for 25, Stephen Smith 7 overs no maiden, 140, Michael Clarke 1 over for 7, and Shane Watson bowled 6 overs, 1 for 40. Now Now, looking at the Australian reply, what was very good about Australia was that Michael Clarke is such a wonderful captain. What he did is, yes, Watson and Haddon came in, and they came with some real urgency because they know 333, 6.66 runs and over to chase. They decided to really go for the strokes, and Brad Haddon, after making 20, was caught by Trott or the bowling of Anderson for 20 of 25 balls. But after that, it was Shane Watson and Ferguson in the middle, and Watson was just, I would say, just smashing the bowling, he made a very quick 50 or 51. He contributed of 34 deliveries, 8 fours in that knock of Watson. He was really hitting the ball very hard, and Callum Ferguson was also impressive, also picking up some good runs there, and also hitting a few good boundaries. But then Shane Watson was gone, victim of Yardy. He was caught by Strauss with the bowling of Yardy, 51 of 34 balls with 8 fours. And this was what the master stroke that Michael Clarke did. Any other captain would have decided that if it's 4-1 and Australia have everything to play for and they are already leading the series, but in fact that shows that Michael Clarke wanted his team to win the match, and that's what he did. What he did is he first he sent in Mitchell Johnson as a pinch hitter, and Mitchell Johnson smote the bowling all across the turf, and he contributed. He made a very entertaining 57 of 59 balls with 1 4 and 2 sixes, and was involved in a very good partnership with Callum Ferguson at the other end, who was playing in a very calm fashion, but also he was very sedate, but also he was hitting boundaries as and when an opportunity was given to him, and he was very impressive too with his knock of 46. And then Callum Ferguson left for 46 of 44 balls with 3 fours when he was run out there, and they were 166 for 3. But as I said, Mitchell Johnson was there smashing the ball into all parts of the ground, and as I said, this was the master stroke from Michael Clarke, and that shows what a determined captain Michael Clarke is. And not only that, he not only promoted Mitchell Johnson in the batting order to actually Mitchell Johnson getting his first 50 as coming number 2 in the list there, and he made 57 before going for more runs. Peterson had his wicket. He was stumped by Pryor with the bowling of Peterson for 57 of 59 deliveries, 1 4 and 2 sixes, and he's really given the impetus to Australia, because when he left the score was 194 for 4 in 30 overs. But I know there was a lot of hard work to be done. Michael Clarke, the captain, was there. As you know, he was booed in the last match, and Cameron White joined him. Cameron White was out for 20 of 21 balls with 1 4 and 1 6, was victim of Finn. David Hussey contributed a very hitting 38 of 36 balls, 2 fours and 1 6, also being a victim of Finn. But what was very important was the partnership which Michael Clarke had with Cameron White and Smith was very important. Michael Clarke himself, as I said, he was a very determined captain that showed in his way that he promoted Mitchell Johnson into the Australian batting order. And not only that, Michael Clarke also led by example. Today he definitely, if you see, his number of runs scored was more than the number of balls. That itself shows that Michael Clarke was really improving and was determined to win this match. And not only did that, he took almost Australia to victory and finally he was run out for 82 of 70 deliveries, 4 fours and 1 6, and that 6 which was hit was a whipped 6 of the bowling of James Anderson, whose bowling figures he was taken to the cleaners today. 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 91. His worst day in this tour of Australia, I would say, because he has bowled so well, and it was his worst day today, and he had to suffer at the hands of the Australian batsmen. And Michael Clarke playing a captain's innings, and that things were going one, and Smith was also run out for a duck, and suddenly at 327 for 8 in the 49th over, and Michael Clarke departed. He was already almost taking Australia to victory, but he was run out for 82 of 70 balls with 4 fours and 1 6. But after that, it was Brett Lee and John Hastings who really kept their cool, because they knew there were 7 runs more to get, but they really kept their cool and got the singles. Hastings hit a boundary, and Hastings was not out on 7 when he hit the winning run. Brett Lee was not out on 2, and Australia had won the 6th one-day international to take a 5-1 lead in the series, 334 for 8 in 49.2 overs, and they won by 2 wickets with 4 balls remaining. And let me see whether I can cover the bowling figures for you, dear cricket fan. The bowling figures: Chris Woakes 9.2 overs, no maiden, none for 73, was hit all over the park. Anderson, I've already told you, 1 for 91 of his 10 was really smashed all across the park. Stephen Finn 10 overs, no maiden, 251, 10 overs, no maiden, 147. Yardy was impressive. Peterson 6 overs, 143, and Jonathan Trott bowled 4 overs, none for 29. Jonathan Trott of England was named man of the match, but my man of the match. Well, probably Jonathan Trott. He played really well with his, probably the way he was struggling with his cramps and other problems. I think he deserved the man of the match. But what a match. But I can only praise and I can only say Australia are peaking at the right time for World Cup 2011. Not only that, Michael Clarke is leading the way. He led with the bat. His captaincy, as I said, in this whole series has been very impressive. No wonder Australia have decided that the heir to Ponting after Ponting goes would be Michael Clarke. What a wonderful captain he is. Any other captain would have decided, well, they have won it 4-1, and they would have said, okay, let's send the recognized batsman, and then Mitchell Johnson, well, if we win, we win. But Michael Clarke was a determined captain, and in the end, it all showed up. Well, dear cricket fans, as I said, I won't have much time to cover because this YouTube broadcast may end abruptly. We have one more one-day international to go, and that would be the 7th one-day international, which will be played at Perth. It will be a day game, 7th ODI, Australia versus England. And today, also watch out for 2 matches. This 4th or the 5th, the one-day internationals between Pakistan and New Zealand. That will be the 5th ODI at Hamilton, and Sri Lanka versus West Indies, 2nd ODI at the SSC in Colombo. That's it, dear cricket fans, subscribers and friends for Cricket Happenings. This is your host Ram, signing off. Thank you.